All right, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day to those of you out there that are celebrating Valentine's Day. Um, I know it's the tough one for all of us when we've had our children's taken. I don't know if any of you are like me, but my wife and I, even though it's our 11th anniversary today, we don't celebrate these because we don't feel like we are privy to be able to have fun, I guess, right? It's something that happens to you when your kids get taken. It's almost like they've taken your soul from you. They've taken everything from you that was meant to be for happiness, and it just doesn't feel right when you're celebrating something you that's something that's supposed to be so important, especially a day like this, like a day full of love and everything. It's very hard to to overcome the feeling of loss and then try to fill it with a day of love and gratitude. But hey, do the best you can, because if you've made it through this with your partner, then you've done a hell of a job, because it's very tough. The stats are very, very high in breakups. And that's not only if you break up and you make it through, but that's just CPS alone, tearing your relationship apart with your spouse, forcing you to separate from them, saying that the husband is a domestic abuser, or just separating you outright. There's so many people that have ended their relationships due to CPS, and this is all part of their game too. This is what they do to try to take the man out of the house and break everything down, so that the woman herself is now standing with the baby, and then they can manipulate this way. Especially if the woman had become dependent on the man and her husband, like my wife and I, we share the responsibilities. There's things that she's good at that I'm not good at, and well, actually, she's better than me at everything, but there's things that she lets me think that I'm better at than her, and then there's things that she's better at, and then together, we become a great parent, but it works out for our relationship. So when they take away part of that from your relationship and you lose that half, it's tough, man. It's tough to have a relationship when they've removed your other solid one. So anyway, congratulations to anybody out there that has been through this. They're still going through this, that can hold it together to keep their relationships, and then still on top of that, truly still be in love. I mean, kudos to you guys. So happy Valentine's Day to those of you that will take that happy thing. Our guest tonight, guess what? Not from this United States of America. No way. She's from the great. Oh, I got something to show her too. She's from the Quebec, Canada. Her name is Josie. And man, wait till you guys hear this story that she's got to tell. This is pretty intense, but she's a fighter. We were just talking backstage, and she's really something. So I'm going to get out of the way here. I'm going to let Miss Josie go ahead, and she can tell you guys what's going on and how's it going with their story. Josie, how are you from the Great White North?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to
Yeah, you
everybody.
too. You too. I mean, it's a tough day. Every holiday is a tough one, but
Yeah.
we have to still manage to live a little bit, I guess. Like, the world doesn't stop. I mean, it seems like it does, but we got to try hard to push through. And like, especially in the relationships when CPS have come in. I don't know what happened in your kid's situation or how that went down, but I know in my situation they tried to put me through the ringer and make my wife think I was the monster of the world and all of this stuff. And she knows better. I'm scared of her. So she knew darn well that it was all lies, but they do that stuff. But
Well,
yeah,
imagine me. I was telling my husband that I was suing his boss.
yeah, that's right. So just even to break this in, right? So Josie, beside everything else that's in this story, your husband was a CPS agent, worker,
Worker.
whatever they are, for 30. How did he not have all the 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 manual on this stuff, or does he still have a manual that he can ship to us and we can look through?
But my husband, okay, so my husband worked there, but he was one of those innocent guys. He wasn't a social worker, so he did health and safety.
Okay,
So he wasn't one of those people, but he believed that he was doing it out of being a good guy and having
right,
values, and he didn't see the whole game until it happened to his adopted daughter, my daughter.
right,
And then it was like, holy shit, like
yeah.
he was under the he never saw anything.
I can't even imagine. Well, first of all, did he stay working there?
Nope. As soon
No.
as we handed in the, well, he did, but as soon as we handed in the lawsuit, they switched him to the hospital.
Oh wow, of course they did. Of course they did. Got him right out of where he was. The so he came. Go ahead and tell your story. How does this? How do we even want to begin this? I mean, I'll let
Okay.
you because you got my mind is racing because I know there's so many things that we
There's
want
so
to do
many
here.
things.
Because you got a video that I want to throw
Yeah.
this up on there.
Today I'll try to talk about my fight right now with my granddaughter because this is
Yes,
the other fight is the old fight. So this fight
yeah. Let's
is
get on the. Yeah, that's
me
perfect.
being a grandma.
All
So
right.
last year, the 5th of December, my daughter gave birth to my first granddaughter. And I don't know if I can switch my camera or I'll go like this. I'll show you the video of me
Okay.
being a grandma without not this is just me on a normal day. I was meeting my granddaughter for the first time.
Okay.
Hold on. Whoops.
Yeah.
Uh do you see it?
Yeah, we see it. Yep.
Darling, don't be afraid. I loved you for 1,000. I love you for 1,000 more. Time stands still, beauty and oh. It's almost over.
Oh no, no. Why are you? That's no problem.
I will not let anything take my
That's
other child
beautiful.
and the
That's
mom.
beautiful. Oh,
So,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
so that was me being. Hold on, my dogs are screaming at each other right now at the same
Yeah,
time.
no
So that
worries. No
so
worries.
that was me like living the moment of
Right,
being.
being meme and all, you're ready to take on the world now. You're all your girls are with you, and
I know. I was
there's
like,
beautiful
it was like the
pictures,
most
and
prettiest thing. And
yeah,
then 2 days later, like the next day of her being born, my daughter calls me to say, "Mom, there's a social worker here. Come here now." And
oh
I
my
said,
gosh,
"What?" And then I rushed to the hospital. I met with the social worker. The social worker tells me that uh, they're going to do an investigation on Naomi. And I said, okay, why? And she's like, there's a conflict. She goes, there's a potential risk of harm. And I'm just like, excuse me. And then, um, and then she said, what we'll do is we're going to give you the baby to you as the grandma while we do the investigation. And I said, yeah, yes, 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 whatever.
right?
Like,
Please, please, thank
yes,
you. Yes,
yes, yes,
right,
I
right,
accept,
sure,
right? And so she's like, we're gonna come see your house tomorrow morning, and then you can come and get the baby and Naomi out of the hospital because she was fine and she gave birth and she
right,
was coming home, right? And I said, okay, perfect. And so she tells me there that she knew my husband, and I was like, okay, but like I don't know. So I come back home that night. I tell my husband, okay, they want to do investigation. We kind of figured it was going to happen. Like we prepared because we kind of knew because everybody that Naomi was friends with all got their baby taken. So we were
really.
prepared for the birth alert, but we knew that me and my husband would take her if anything happened.
What do you
And
call that?
then
A birth alert?
yes, it's called a birth alert. Yeah.
And what is a birth alert?
It's when they flag the mom directly from the hospital. So when
Wow.
my daughter gave birth, she like we have now it's confirmed because at the beginning nothing was confirmed, but it's been a year. So now I have confirmation of these things. We asked for Naomi's medical records, and in the records now, we had that the social worker called the hospital to see if Naomi had given birth.
Wow.
Yes, so that's why it's called a birth alert. Just like back in the with the indigenous people, that's
Yep.
what they did. So it's like flagged on their medical card, right? So as soon as they gave birth, then there's a call that's made to CPS.
Okay. All right.
So that happened, and the next day I was supposed to go. I was waiting for her. She was supposed to come to my house at 9 o'clock. So my
Okay.
two other kids went to school, and I had my coffee, and I was gonna wait for her to come see the house and say everything's good to go. Go pick up your daughter and granddaughter. And 10 minutes before 9, at 8:50, she texted me saying that she wasn't gonna be at at my house. And
Okay.
then I panicked. I freaked out. I went upstairs. My husband was working from the house. And I said, I'm going straight to the hospital. Like it was like,
Right.
oh, fuck
Lightning
you.
speed.
Like, you
Right.
just fucking told me you're not coming
Yep.
here.
I'm
What's
on
going
the
on? Right.
way. Right. Yep.
So
Yep. Gone.
I hurried to the hospital, which I live like 10 minutes away.
So you're there in
And
2 minutes.
I get to the parking lot of the hospital. I imagine all hospitals are big ass
Right.
fucking parking. My daughter calls me and she's crying and she's saying, "Mommy, they're taking her. They're taking her."
Oh
Like the
my God.
fucking worst thing you ever want to hear from
Yeah,
your
it's the
own
worst
daughter.
thing. It's the worst thing that you could
The
ever. Right.
worst thing. And then I'm just
Yep.
like, I'm there. I'm there in 2 seconds. Like I'm in the parking lot running up.
Yep.
And then I'll show you the videos, okay? Sorry,
Yes.
there's some are in English, some are in French. You can see that I'm very stressed out.
Right.
Like, but I'm calm, but I'm
Right.
stressed. But like, like you'll see,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
Fucking shit out of this. Remember how I warned you about birth alerts? Well, guess what? They fucking had a birth alert of my daughter, and right now they want to steal my granddaughter. They do not want to give it to. They do not want me to have my granddaughter because I am fucking suing children's aids because of what they did to my girl. So I need you guys to fucking share this shit out. They're trying to steal my grandbaby, steal this fucking thing out. Please, okay? I'm Chicoutimi in Saguenay, Quebec. Find me a lawyer. Do something. Get the fuck share this shit out, please. They're trying to steal my granddaughter. They will not give her to me because I'm suing the fucking asses off. Okay, TikTok, you guys. Okay, so that was one. And then I get upstairs. I'm in the elevator going up. Okay.
Right.
Pourquoi? Là, vous me laissez pas rentrer voir ma petite fille. Vraiment. Vous êtes qui, vous? OK, mais j'ai le droit d'être ici,
Now
c'est
are
ma
those
petite
police?
fille.
Hey,
C'est clair?
Josie, are those police? Are those
Pourquoi vous avez
police? Or are
Those are
Yeah.
security guards from the hospital.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they're not letting me enter. They're not letting me enter to see my granddaughter. Like not even
Okay.
for the last time. Like they're not letting me enter.
Right.
And so now I'm like, I'm trying to be calm. Like, why are you not letting me go in? Well, why are you already there before I even
Right.
came?
You
Like,
shouldn't even
everything
know.
was
Right. You shouldn't
planned.
even know. You shouldn't have a thing here. Let me ask you know what? If you hold on 1 second, I'm going to bring Herbert in. Let's ask him real quick about this security stuff at the hospital. Hey, Herbert. Herbert, the law enforcement czar. Oh, we can't hear you, Herbert. For some reason, I lost you here. We had you before. No, sir, not yet. I just want to ask him if he knows what the deal is, like the security guards stopping you, how that works in the jurisdiction of the.
And then after that, they called the police, and then the police shows up.
Okay, perfect. This is the stuff. So Herbert's new to the world of the CPS stuff. We'll get his audio worked with here. If something's wrong with his audio here, let me make sure it's just not me somehow muting him, because that's been known to happen before. No, it's not me. Well, we'll get back to Herbert once he figures this out. All right, go ahead and carry on with that stream. Sure.
Okay, so
All right.
it was pretty. That one was pretty short, and then I go off again. Wait, hold on. News, please. I'm at the hospital. They don't want me to take my granddaughter. Please call the police. Call anything. I'm in Chicoutimi Hospital in Saguenay. Share this shit. They're trying to do intimidation tactics. This is a birth alert. They're trying to steal my granddaughter. They don't want her to come home with me. Please fucking share the shit out of this. Go, okay? I really need your help. Call fucking news media. I don't care. Call them. I'm on the third floor in Chicoutimi Hospital. Go. This needs to be public. Go. Okay, guys, I need. Like, you see how fucking panicked I
Yeah,
was?
yeah, I do. I mean, I've been in that situation, so I understand the fear and the panic and the wanting the urgency. You only have seconds. These people are trying to steal your child, for God's
I
sakes.
know.
Like
And
it's
then this is the part with the police.
okay.
Vous ne quitterez pas les lieux.
Non, je quitterai pas les lieux sans ma petite fille.
Exactement, c'est pour ça qu'on est là. La
Ok.
petite fille a été retirée par la DPJ. Vous n'aurez pas la petite fille. Fait que c'est pour ça qu'on va quitter. Vous devez quitter.
Pourquoi j'ai pas ma fille?
Elle a été retirée par la DPJ.
Ben, la raison du pourquoi, c'est quoi?
Elle a été retirée. Vous demanderez à la DPJ.
OK, ben, monsieur le policier,
Oui.
faut vous compreniez, là, que... So basically, I was asking them, why is she being taken away by them? Like,
Right.
why? Like,
Right.
and the police are like, well, we don't know. They're just taking her. Their CPS is just taking her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? And then they take me out of the hospital.
All right, let's see if we got. I think Herbert may have fixed this. Let's see here. Herbert, are you there?
Yeah, can
All
you
right,
hear
so
me?
we can hear you. We can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. To the lady,
So we
to
can
the
handle
lady
this.
with the security guard, it's not the security guard, it's the administration you got to go to. The hospital administrators.
Okay. Now, who would order her in the security guards? Are you saying the administration did that to her?
Yes.
Okay, but then
The
they had CPS.
administration pays for the security guard and gives them orders on what to do. Because I ran a
All right.
hospital, Stony Brook University Hospital.
All right. So then the police came up. Did you see that? The police came up?
The police came up as a result of the security guard calling the police because it was getting out of hand.
Okay. Now, can they get rid of her out of the hospital like that?
They can what's the word, trespass her. The administration can trespass her.
Okay. So that would be it. So they're allowed to go up in the hospital and not allow her to see her grandkid then?
No. It's the administration of the hospital that's doing that, not
Right.
the police.
Right. So they're getting that from there. All right. But the police came into the hospital and told her to leave.
Because, by direction of the administration. The administration says we don't want her in here.
I got you. All right. Well, cool, Herbert. Thank you for that clarification, my man. So what went on next, Josie? What happened next?
Oh, and then after that, I didn't get to see her for 7 months.
Okay. So I don't know how the laws or the rules and the regulations work up in Canada and opposed to the United States. Did your daughter get to see her within the 72 hours did you guys have the shelter care hearing, the 72-hour hearing? Any of that stuff?
Well, yeah, they had like the 3 days, 72 hours, sounds right. Yeah, 3 days. And then after she was placed for like 3 months, and then 3 months, and then 6 months, and now they want to place her
they
till
get
she's
the money
18.
when they get the funding things to go through, they do these check marks. So you did get the 72-hour hearing though, that one.
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal on both sides. What happened at that 72-hour hearing?
That 72-hour hearing, my daughter was upset. She went back to the baby daddy that was like not really good because she was living down in the apartment.
Right.
And she had a C-section, and and I didn't see her until like maybe a week later because she was like she's mad at me at that time because she knows
you couldn't stop her, right?
they're doing it because of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? She doesn't know what to do. She just lost her baby. She doesn't want to come see mom because mom's going to be like, what happened? You know,
there's mom's the reason, right? Mom's the reason in her mind anyway. Her mind, mom's the reason.
There is no reason. Like when you're in the hospital and you don't hurt your baby and you don't do anything, like what? Why?
She didn't have drugs, right? She wasn't on positive on drugs. She wasn't any of that stuff. She was just this. This is really the only thing that happened was that you were suing CPS.
Yeah,
and that's it.
She had a baby daddy that wasn't supposed to be on the birth certificate, but he was there because that's what young girls do sometimes, right?
Right.
So he was there, but the next morning when all this happened, they made her panic. They made her sign his name on the birth certificate because she's like, I'd rather the baby have 2 visits than one. And she put his name down, and she thought it was going to be better if she has a daddy's name on it. And yeah, and then
So
she
what?
left with him.
Without the baby though, or with the baby?
No.
So what reason did they say that they were keeping that baby?
Well, it changed. Well, at the very beginning, they said it was a conflict of the couple. And then when I said conflict of the couple, she's not even with the couple. Like, she's not even with
What
the
the hell is
daddy. Like, she was living
conflict of the
downstairs. He
couple?
had another apartment. And I was like, I don't get it. And then after they changed it in the 72 hours to a potential risk of harm.
Oh, there we go. Yep, potential might happen.
Yeah, potential. Like, anybody could potentially hurt someone, right?
Right, and they could potentially be walking out the street with your child and get hit by a bus, and no one saw that coming.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, this
It
potential
is.
stuff.
It is.
So at the 72-hour, what did you say that again? The couple was what they said at the beginning?
At the first thing, there was a conflict between the couple, between Naomi and the baby daddy.
So that's why they were saying they were taking the baby at first.
But that's what we thought. But like I said, today we now know that it was a real birth alert because she called and asked if Naomi had given birth.
Okay. All right.
Do you see? Like, she tried to cover her tracks.
Right.
But now today, what we know now is that we have confirmation that she called the hospital to see if she given birth. So she was on the list. You see? So
Right.
none of it is true. Like,
Right.
None of it. It's all been
So
a
that's
lie.
how they knew, because they were calling in and checking, seeing where she was or who she was or whatever.
Yep.
Because did they have any contact with Neil? I know that because you had the past incident with her, obviously. Yeah. But no, from that point forward, was there any CPS, anything when she came home?
No, when she came out at like 17, so she was like 3 years that she didn't talk to them. So, but what we think here in Quebec, like, I mean, many moms and grandmas, that if we look at all of our things that we have in common, one is our kids were in foster care is one big thing, and two is when the moms, the teenager, the moms, like the young moms, are on welfare. They have a program here that's called OLO, like where welfare gives you like extra cheese, extra milk and stuff. So all these moms were on this program, and we think that it's kind of like called in by them.
Okay, like a list for them. Yeah, it was like a list for them to hunt off of.
Yeah, so when they're on, because my daughter was on assistance on welfare. I don't know if that's what you guys call it there, but assisted living or whatever. Yeah. And so automatically we think that there's like when they get that special check to get more milk and stuff, that they flag. That's where the flagging starts, and then when they give birth, they call the CPS, and it's like, we're coming to snatch your kids.
Right. So they basically have someone either inside the hospital, either taking notes and calling them, or their caseworkers already have their eyes on something going on. And they're probably like, did you guys notice anybody following her when she was pregnant? Was there any, you didn't see any sort of signs that they were stalking her out then?
No.
So then chances are good they had just someone sitting at the hospital. Yes.
Yeah.
And then when the baby comes out, they say, "Hey, George, we got one right here. Come on." Well,
they know because they're getting those little coupons, right? So there's like a social worker that comes in and makes sure that the baby, if she's going to her prenatal classes and stuff, right? So it's all like that. When you see it from like after, now you realize what the whole thing was. We're gonna help you. We're gonna give you coupons, but they put the date of birth. So CPS knows to call. Oh, when is she due? Okay. So that week we'll call and and wonder if she gave birth.
Okay, I get it now. I get it. I was a little confused there for a minute, but I get it now. So they know. Okay, by inadvertently giving you these coupons and stuff, they're getting to be able to find out when you're going to have that child, so they know what days to look for, how to look for it, and so on.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Now, so we get the 72-hour hearing. They say it's whatever the BS reason there. Then we go to the 3-month hearing. What have they changed? What have they done there?
I think at 3 months they started saying that Naomi, when Naomi was a child, when she was in their care, she got diagnosed with borderline personality.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
borderline
Okay.
personality disorder. Because back like 10 years ago, that was like the new thing, right? So
That's the new
borderline.
ADHD, right?
Yeah, so she got diagnosed with borderline. And so
Okay.
3 months later, they started to say you can't have this child because they knew her and they said you have mental health reason, blah blah blah, right? So then
Right.
they tried to use that against her. And then when they started using that against her, I went to see a psychiatrist, and I got her diagnosed, and the psychiatrist said he analyzed me, he analyzed her, and he said your daughter is not borderline personality disorder, does not have borderline personality disorder. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, I went like for like 3 years to therapy with her. I did everything with my daughter when I thought she had the diagnosis, right? So so he's like, no. And I was like, well, why would they give her a diagnosis? And then they said, because when kids are in CPS, they like diagnosis because they get paid more per child that's
Of
in.
course.
Of course.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, so now they're using it against her. But then I hadn't. So this new psychiatrist was like, no, she's not borderline. She's very well spoken. She knows her feelings. She's like, And so I was like, wow. So we went and brought back that report to CPS. And of course they didn't like it.
Right. They never
Yeah.
do.
No. We're keeping it.
And that's crazy. That is, I don't know how they get the money and in Canada. Like, I don't know the funding. I haven't looked into that at all. But I imagine it's probably pretty darn close to how our structure is, which is the CAPTA, and then it goes down from there. But it is all about the money, and people don't want to hear it. They don't believe it. They think that it's a farce. They think people like us are wearing tinfoil hats, that we must be terrible people. Because I'm going to be honest, I was one of those people that when CPS, if you would have told me before my situation, if CPS came, if someone came, oh, go, CPS took my kid, I'm like, you must be an awful person, man, to have CPS
Yeah.
come into you. Like, I knew nothing about this. I knew not a darn thing. And
I
they
know.
couldn't. So when it happened to me, I was like, oh, if anybody ever tries to come take my kid, I'll blow. You don't, until that you're put in that situation, you have no idea. And by the time you learn about this stuff and they're coming to take your kid, it's too late.
Yep.
You've gone too far in. Hey, right now we've been on here for 31 minutes. Josie, let's hold on one second. I'm going to bring Candace in, a small individual with a huge voice. She's going to give us a little law update. Candace, how you doing tonight, sweetie? She's got potato mouth.
I'm doing all right.
There she is.
Yes, I do. I was eating dinner.
Candace, what do you think about
I was eating
this?
my Valentine's dinner. Stop. How's everybody doing?
That's commitment. Well,
Good.
You've been hearing this? What do you think about this story, huh?
It's a little crazy. It's a little wild, but I mean, it's not unheard of. I actually, personally, with my second child, I actually had CPS come straight into the hospital, and I don't think I've told you this about Lillian, Darren, but it does happen.
Right.
Unfortunately.
That's just crazy for no reason, too. No reason other than just because
my daughter was 2 days old.
Oh.
And
terrible.
the program that she was talking about, it's called WIC down here in Alabama. It's where you get the extra cheese, the vegetables, the milk, the bread.
There you got that too.
Oleo, right? You said Oleo?
Yeah.
Yep. OLO. Oleo.
Yeah. Olu,
yep.
yeah.
Oleo. Yeah, that's great. Well, Candace, me and Josie are going to step aside for a second, and we're going to give this show to you. Let's hear what you got to say about this eve.
All right. Well, what I've got to bring to y'all today is going to be what's called judicial qualifications. This is something that you want to do before you go to appeals and actually to be able to question jurisdiction on a judge qualifies. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. What judicial requires to is the criteria or the requirements that individuals must meet to serve as judges within the particular jurisdiction. These qualifications vary from one jurisdiction to another and can include a combination of educational, professional, and personal attributes. Some common judicial questions or qualifications may include legal education. Typically, judges are required to have a law degree from an accredited law school, and in some jurisdictions, higher degrees in law or related fields may be preferred or required. Legal experience. Many jurisdictions require judges to have a certain number of years of legal practice as attorneys or lawyers before being eligible for judicial appointment. This experience helps ensure that the judges have strong understanding of the law and their legal procedures. Character and integrity. Judges are expected to exhibit high levels of integrity, impartiality, and ethical conduct. Background checks and character assessments may be conducted to ensure that judicial candidates have the requisite moral character for the position. Judicial temperament. Judicial candidates should demonstrate, I'm sorry, I can't speak tonight, guys, the ability to remain fair, impartial, and composed even in challenging or contentious situations. Judicial temperament is crucial for maintaining the integrity and credibility of the judiciary. Legal knowledge and competence. Judges should possess a comprehensive understanding of the law, including relevant statutes, case law, and legal principles. They should also demonstrate the ability to apply legal reasoning and analysis to complex legal issues. Judicial selections process. The process for selecting judges varies widely across jurisdictions. It may involve appointment by the executive branch, election by the public, or a combination of both. In some cases, judicial candidates may undergo nomination and confirmation procedures involving legislative bodies, residency and citizenship. Some jurisdictions may require judges to be residents of the jurisdiction they serve or citizens of the country in which they preside. Continuing education. Many jurisdictions require judges to participate on ongoing legal education programs to stay abreast the developments in the law and maintain their competence throughout their judicial tenure. These are general qualifications, and specific requirements may vary significantly depending on the jurisdiction and type of the court. It's essential for individuals seeking judicial positions to familiarize themselves with the specific qualifications and requirements established by the relevant governing bodies or authorities. Questioning judicial qualifications typically occurs within the context of judicial appointments or elections or during the initial stages of legal proceedings, where a judge's qualifications may be relevant to the case at hand. However, the process of questioning judicial qualifications may vary depending on the jurisdiction and specific circumstances involved. Many cases, if there are any concerns about a judge's qualifications or impartiality during the legal proceedings, parties to the case may raise objections and motions to recuse the judge based on specific grounds such as bias, conflict of interest, or lack of qualification. These objections are typically addressed by the presiding judge or the appellate court if the issue is raised on appeal. When questioning a judge's qualifications on appeal, it is essential to have valid legal grounds supporting by evidence or legal arguments. Appeals generally focus on errors of law or procedure rather than challenges to a judge's qualification per se. However, if there are substantial concerns about the judge's qualifications affecting the fairness or the legality of the proceedings, they may be raised as a part of the appellate process. In some jurisdictions, there may be specific procedures or rules governing the questioning of judicial qualifications during appeals. It is important to consult with the legal experts or attorneys familiar with the applicable laws and procedures in your jurisdiction to determine if the appropriate course of action. Overall, while questioning the judicial qualifications may be valid concern in certain circumstances, it is essential to follow established legal procedures and standards to ensure that the objections are raised appropriately and effectively addressed within the framework of the judicial system. Questioning judicial qualifications typically involves assessing whether a judge or judicial candidate meets the legal and ethical standards required to hold position. Here are some steps of the consideration for questioning judicial qualifications. Research the qualification. Familiarize yourself with the qualifications for judicial office as outlined in relevant laws, regulations, or judicial codes and conduct in your jurisdiction. These qualifications may include educational requirements, legal experience, character, integrity, and other criteria. Review the candidate's background. Investigate the background and credentials of the judge or judicial candidate in question. Look at their education, professional experience, legal practice, judicial decisions if applicable, and any relevant disciplinary history. Assess legal and ethical standards. Evaluate whether the judge or judicial candidate meets the legal and ethical standards required for judicial office. Consider factors such as integrity, impartiality, independence, judicial temperament, and adherence to the ethical codes or conduct. Seek information from reliable sources. Gather information from reliable sources, including the official records, professional associations, legal publications, and reputable news sources. Verify the accuracy of any claims or allegations regarding the candidate's qualification. Ask relevant questions. If the questions of the judge or judicial candidate are in question, consider raising concerns through appropriate channels. This may include submitting inquiries to the judicial nominating commissions, professional associations, government agencies responsible for judicial appointments, or relevant oversight bodies. Participate in judicial selection processes. If your jurisdiction allows for public participation in the judicial selection process, considering attending public hearings, forums, or meetings where the judicial candidates are evaluated and questioned. Raise questions or concerns about the qualifications of candidates during these proceedings. Advocate for transparency and accountability. Advocate for transparency and accountability in judicial selection process. Encourage the adoption of clear and objective criteria for evaluating judicial qualifications, as well as mechanisms for assessing and addressing concerns for judicial candidates' qualifications. Legal challenges and appeals. In cases where there are serious doubts about a judge's qualifications or eligibility for office, legal challenges or appeals may be pursued through appropriate legal channels. Consult with legal experts or attorneys knowledgeable about judicial ethics and procedures to explore the potential avenues for recourse. It is essential to approach questioning judicial qualifications with diligence, respect for due process, and adherence to legal and ethical standards. Upholding the integrity and independence of judiciary is paramount for ensuring the fair administration of justice. Here are a few key points to keep in mind when questioning judicial qualifications. Focus on objective criteria set forth in laws, regulations, ethic codes, etc. Avoid subjective critiques of judicial temperament, ideology, etc. Research thoroughly and cite credible sources, evidence regarding any deficiencies in education, experience, characters, etc. Raise concerns through the proper channels, judicial review boards, nomination proceedings, oversight bodies, etc. Follow appropriate procedures. If a judge's impartiality is in question in a specific case, file a recusal motion citing a valid legal grounds, personal bias, conflict of interest, etc. For appeals, focus on procedure, legal errors rather than qualifications alone. Qualifications may be relevant for determining if an error occurred. Avoid unsubstantiated accusations. Question qualifications in a professional manner with supporting facts, documentation. Consider whether concerns warrant legal remedies, disciplinary reviews, disqualifications, appeal, or voluntary recusal or resignation if unfit. Balance judicial independence with reasonable accountability. Questioning should not become a political tool. Maintain respect for the office, even when qualifications are doubted. Follow protocol benefiting the dignity of the judiciary. The key is raising legitimate concerns through proper procedures, backed by facts and legal, ethical reasoning. Judicial qualifications should withstand rigorous and respectful scrutiny. When questioning judicial qualifications, individuals or entities may examine various aspects of judges' background, experience, conduct, and fitness for office. Here are a few key areas that may be subject to scrutiny. Legal education and training. Reviewing a judge's educational background to ensure they have received the necessary legal education from accredited institutions. Professional experience. Evaluating the judge's professional experience, including the years of practice as an attorney or a legal practitioner. This may involve assessing the breadth and depth of their legal experience in different areas of law. Judicial experience. If the judge may have on the bench, including tenure as a judge in lower courts or specialized tribunals. Ethical conduct and integrity. Scrutinize the judge's record of ethical conduct including any history or disciplinary actions, complaint lapses. Impartiality and biases. Examine the judge's record to assess their impartiality and objectively in presiding over cases. This may involve reviewing the past ruling statements or affiliations that could indicate bias or conflicts of interest. Temperament and judicial demeanor. Evaluating the judge's temperament and demeanor in court proceedings, including the ability to maintain decorum, respect, and fairness in interactions with litigants, attorneys, and other court personnel. Legal knowledge and competence. Assessing the judge's knowledge in the substantive and procedural law, including their ability to apply legal principles accurately and effectively in judicial decision making. Communicative skills. Evaluating the judge's communication skills, including their clarity in explaining legal reasoning, ensuring or issuing rules, and articulating decisions. Community engagement and service. Considering the judge's involvement in the community activities, legal associations, and public service initiatives that reflect the commitment to the legal profession and the community that they serve. Diversity and representation. Assessing the judge's commitment to diversity and inclusion when the judiciary, including the efforts to promote representation of marginalized or underrepresented groups. When questioning judicial qualifications, it's important to adhere to legal standards, procedures, and ethical guidelines. Scrutiny should be based on objective criteria and relevant legal considerations rather than personal or political motivations. Additionally, any concerns about a judge's qualifications should be raised through appropriate channels such as judicial nominating commissions, oversight bodies, or legal proceedings as warranted by the circumstances. Well, Darren, that's all I got for you tonight.
All right, Candace, thank you so much for that. And that was amazing. So wait, basically what you're saying is this: question those judges, make sure that they're legit when you get on the stand with them, right? You want to make sure, you want to see all their documents. You want to see, what do you want? What are you looking for when you're checking this stuff? When you're making sure the judges are accurate, you want to see their oaths of office, right? You want to see what else?
Yeah.
The
oath of office and the bonds, you can actually get that online. You have to go through the Secretary of State and request that through public records. And you can also pull them from the clerk's office.
Okay, cool. All right, well, Candace, well, you can get back to your Valentino dinner, and we'll catch you tomorrow night.
All righty, thank you.
All right. All right. All right. And here we are back to Miss Josie. Josie, so in your crazy story here, we got Herbert, the law enforcement czar, still sitting back there with us. Where are you at now as far as this goes with your case?
Well, right now with my granddaughter, we the 5th of December, so like a year, like the baby was a year, we got the judgment from the judge, and we didn't like it. When I say we, it's me and my daughter. We didn't like it, and we asked her lawyer, and remember, my daughter is on social assistance, so she's allowed to legal aid, right? So we asked my daughter's lawyer, legal aid, if we could appeal the decision. The lawyer wrote back, and like I said, I'm military, so I keep everything, photocopy, receipts, everything. Her lawyer wrote back saying, "Oh, I don't think we should appeal. It's complicated, blah blah blah." Okay,
what kind of lawyer would say that?
I know exactly, and I have it. I have the text, like literally. And then I panicked. And I said, no. And then I started researching everything I could about how we make an appeal. Right. And so I made the appeal myself because you only have a window of 30 days to send it in. Right. So I hurried it like the last day. I handed it in. I got it done by the bailiff guy. Like everything was done, sent it.
You're like running down the hallway trying to get it in there at the last moment.
Exactly. But I got it on time, right? And then so I got it in the 5th of December, I think. And then the 18th of December, on a Saturday, I get the bailiff guy coming knocking on my door. And I'm like, okay. And it was a reject. So CPS rejected the appeal. They're trying to reject the appeal.
Okay, so they answered that. Their lawyer answered that appeal and said, no, this is bogus, or he wrote the brief back.
Because now they're mad because they're like, a grandma, because this is Naomi's case. Naomi's on it.
Right.
I'm the grandma. So they went back saying you can't appeal because you're not even on the
You're not even on the docket.
transcript.
Right.
But I said, but I was smart about it because I knew they were going to do that. So I said I appeal only the part where the judge talks about me.
Mhm.
I'm not appealing the whole decision. I am appealing where he says grandparents, and he
Right.
says so we went to court and like at the end of January to see if the judge accepts the rejection. And
Okay.
and I was lucky. I'm hoping to God that I'm lucky, because when I went and I had a binder made up with all my evidence, with the birth alert, everything. And when I went to do the rejection, I handed her in the evidence like a couple days before. So she looked at it and she accepted my book of evidence. So I was like, okay, I think she has 30 days to answer to see, but I'm hoping that she says I want her to have an appeal. So I'm there right now. I'm waiting to see if the rejection is accepted. If not, then I get to appeal the case.
Right. I don't think this is one thing that we need people to realize too. And I'm not a lawyer, so don't take any of my advice about this. But I think what needs to happen here, where what's happening is, are these court appointed attorneys are really working themselves on the side of the CPS agents. We all know this. It's no
100%.
secret. They're
Yeah.
not trying to help you in any way. Their loyalties are with the court. They go to Christmas with these people. They
Yep.
have Christmas parties. They're all hand in hand. Some of them are trying to get into the attorney general's office. They're trying to do all of this stuff. So, we need to pay attention to what we're doing when we're going into our trial for our termination of parental rights, in most instances, or for your instance, because what people don't realize is just because when you get an appeal, you don't get to appeal everything. You can only appeal what was presented to the court at that moment in the trial. So
Right.
if you don't get that information into that trial, it's dead in the water. You can't bring new information. You can't do anything like that. So, and what these attorneys which get hired by the states for us, they make sure that they lethargically put as little in there as possible. When they go to court for you, they barely bring up any information. Like, you're like, tell them about this, and they never tell them. So those things are never. And so we need to really pay attention in the appeals process, in the whole process, to make sure that we're getting stuff put in so that we can appeal it. I mean,
and it's hard too, because then you have like the other woman was saying, there's like reasons to appeal. You can't just say, oh, because I don't like it. So then you have to find what they did in the law that was not okay, how they broke the law, like how like they didn't follow the law. Like for me, one of the things he said on the report was there is no possibility that she can have the baby, but she didn't write the reason. Like there was no substance. Like where you're saying these things with no reasoning. Like continue. You can't just say no, she's not getting the baby. But we all know, because of my supposed death threat, that he can't write it because I'm not guilty.
Right.
But he knows that there's a death threat that's
Right,
there.
of course.
So I'm a horrible grandma.
Yeah.
So there's no way he can leave me a baby.
Right. Well, to be all about this anyway, what is the deal? Why are they keeping their granddaughter? Like, what is their reasoning now? Is it still, what is it?
Oh, now the new reason is Naomi is violent.
Okay.
So they took out the mental health, and now they're giving her a new reason. And me, it's because grandma does TikToks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I did a podcast for when they took my daughter, and my counselor was the one that said, Darren, you need to do something to get out, because I wanted to do something. I had to. I never knew about CPS being like this. I never knew, like I was waiting for this old glory here to come flying through the courthouse and save my kid, and that never happened, obviously, because it doesn't work that way. but I did a podcast where I went out and I spoke out against CPS and I spoke out against everything. And man, didn't they put the hammer down on me? I mean, they stopped my visits from my daughter. They stopped everything. Like they just treated me like I just.
They sent me.
How
They
dare
sent me a
you? How dare you speak out against us?
They sent me a cease and desist letter to say stop doing TikToks.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, I don't know how Canada is, but the last thing I checked in this country is our First Amendment right is not only it's not only a right of us to have, but it's expected. If there's corruption in our government, the people are supposed to speak out against this stuff and allow everybody to learn and know that our government is up to this, because our government here, and I think you guys are pretty much similar with us, but our government works for us. We don't work for it. Like
somehow
we
people forgotten about that, because
right.
I even like I said, I wrote to everybody. I did everything. I made complaints. I made ethicals. I made a complaint about the judge, and then nobody wants to do anything.
Yeah.
I even went to the anti-corruption team in Canada, and they said, "Oh no, CPS, we don't deal with that." Nobody, everybody has their eyes closed. The mayor, the politicians don't want to touch it, because here in Quebec, it's owned by the provincial government. So CPS is like different every province, but in Quebec, it's really run by the government. So nobody wants to touch it. Nobody. And the only tool since I've been vocal about it, like I'm very, I always say, if you have nothing to hide nothing, right? Like I don't hide anything. So people have been watching me and a lot. And I thought I was the only one. And if you would see the number of grandmas that write out to me saying, how can you help me? Like, you're so strong. I'm so happy I'm not the only one. Like I was honestly
moved,
like shocked to see that it wasn't only me. It's happening more and more, and people are finally starting to wake up and talk about it, because the only way we're going to make the system known is if we use our voice, because that's the only arm we have. Like, that's the only tool that we have against them, is to use our voice.
It's and we have to, and we need to build the confidence up, because this isolates you so bad as a parent. You don't feel like you're worthy of anything. You're too embarrassed to go out and face the public, because the first thing that they're going to ask is, "Where's your?" Yeah, exactly. And like, you must be, and my family, everybody's families, it's they just completely ignore that they've known you for 40 something years, and then they immediately listen to this caseworker who's 23 that just got out of college, right? Like, that's because these people
read
know
it
so
in a
much
book.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
And the worst part too is that, like I said, it's like, okay, you have the two of them. You have the 20-year-old that has no kids, that just came out of school and thinks that she's going to tell me how to do it. And then, or you have that very old social worker that's been in for 30 years, that's taking so much antidepressants and anxiety and depression and burnout pills that she doesn't even care anymore. Emotionless.
Take the kid, put it in. Like, it's crazy.
Where's my bonus? I can get more pills.
And if people say, that's just, I've always said, those caseworkers should be drug tested, because you aren't going to tell me that they're not sucking up the whatever, but they are, and they should deserve to be drug tested. They should be at all times. You know what I mean? Like, if they want us to be drug tested, then they too should be drug tested. 100%. Like an eye for an eye, because I'm sure that they got skeletons in their own closets. So what's your plans as of now? Like, what's your plans for what's going on? Are you just sitting and waiting? Are you
well, like I said, now I'm waiting to see the rejection of the appeal. Now I had my criminal court that was supposed to be Monday, that got pushed to the 3rd of June, which, like, I am very not happy, because like, it's just wasting time. And the worst part is, like, I had 3 witnesses, CPS witnesses. They had 3 CPS witnesses. So at that court, there was 6 employees from the same CPS that spent their morning in court for nothing, while they're not giving services to our children. Like, do people realize, like, I'm not the only one? So, like, how many days a week are they in court for stuff like this?
Right.
and they're there asking government for more money, for more services.
Right.
Well, work there and like
They're asking for more services. This is the funny thing. They say that they're asking for more services, but yet their plans are to take your baby. And they're only doing this for the money. You can't tell me
because it's a wheel. It's a nice squeaky. It's a nice whatever squeaky wheel that runs well
the
now.
greasy, I can't even think of
Greasy
it.
wheel. That's it. That's my French. Yeah.
Do you have, what is your plans? Excuse me 1 second. I just gotta type this. But what are your plans for the future now? Are you like gonna just drop out of this thing? This movement?
No, man. I'm
Are
a
you in this
fighter,
for
man.
long
I'm
haul?
military. I never back down. No
Oh,
way.
right. Because I bet you.
I'm still talking on it on TikTok, and I'm still showing everybody what my life is. There's
Right.
days that I'm happy. There's days that I'm sad. I get to see my granddaughter now because it was 7 months that I couldn't see her, and then it was 15 minutes every week, and then after it went to half an hour a week, and now we have an hour unsupervised.
Oh, wow. So you're getting up there.
Woo! There's like progress, right?
Right.
But
it's something, because a lot of people don't even get that,
But I don't give up. I won't give up until I get there's like I think I have to be the voice for Quebec to be like, this has happened to me. I'm a good person. I'm a veteran. I have 2 kids. If there's one thing I know on this earth is that I'm a good mom, and people see it, so I'm just going to continue. And then after I get my grandbaby back, I'm going to make it mission to help other moms.
All right. Well, I'm thinking that maybe we got a place for you here with our abolishcps.com world, that maybe we can get you started in here helping us out, if you wouldn't mind.
I would love to.
We need to really get this out here. And the only way that we're going to do this is to get more people and more people and more people. And what is your TikTok just speaks volumes, how many people are listening to you. So you have quite a voice already. And I would love to get you on our team helping us out with this. So if you don't mind, we'll definitely carry on this conversation a little bit more.
Sure.
We're definitely approaching our time. We're over here. Let me ask Herbert here if he's on. Herbert, you still here with us, buddy?
Herbert's here.
Herbert.
Yeah.
All right. We're wrapping this up. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I think that she would be a very good asset to the show. And she should also tell her friends on TikTok about your show so they can express their thoughts and ideas.
Right.
100%.
Yes, that would be great. What do you think about her story, though? About just they took her kid for no reason?
Yeah, it sounds like it's happening to lots of people.
Right.
And
Let's get this right. She is suing CPS for what they've done to her previous daughter. So she's being gang stalked and being, just being torn apart because of what she's doing, her actions. And that's wrong, man.
Right. But I think she hit it on the head before when she says, as long as they hold on to her, they're making money. As long as they hold on to the child, they're making money.
Right. And that's what they do. They push on for those times. They got to get those 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, to get those checks.
Right.
All right. Well, Herbert, you got anything else to say, buddy, before we cut it loose tonight?
No, except one thing I want to mention to her. When you ever encounter the security guards at a hospital, don't fight with the security guard. You want to speak to the administration of the hospital.
Oh, we can't hear you. We lost you.
When you're panicked, you don't know what to. But it's the first time. You never know how to deal with.
You are 100% correct, but that's why I'm telling you this now.
So the next time you have to happen.
If you have anything to do with anything, and there are other people, even a grocery store, the lady at the register says, "Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry. I know you bought this yesterday. You don't like it. You can't take it back." You say, "Well, let me speak to the manager."
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
You see, you're a military person. Go up the line, go up the ranks.
It sounds like she's at the top of her lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, the security guards, they're just doing what they're paid to do.
So
It's
what
the
I was
administration.
how did those security guards already know that she was coming up to that floor to see that baby? So obviously someone in the administration then knew that she was coming.
Yeah. Did you tell people you were going up there on that day?
Well, they didn't know I was going to be there at that time.
Did they know you were going to come at some point in time?
Yeah, they knew that because I was supposed to go pick up my daughter and my granddaughter. So it
Did
was
they know
up
what?
to who was going to go there first.
Did they know what day it was going to be?
Yeah.
Good. They planted the security guards there
Yeah.
from early morning.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, it's pretty evident, and that's what they do, man. That's it. That's the evilness of the game that they play.
You
It's
actually gave security guards overtime.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. I bet you it wasn't as quick as that video showed it.
Yeah.
I think Josie probably gave up quite a fight to them people that day. It sounds like.
Yeah. But again, like I said, the security guard says, no, you can't go in there. You can't go in there. Okay, fine. Then you want to look for the administrator
Or
for
maybe
that
now,
floor.
right? Or maybe now go find out who did this to you on that. Because there's always a trail of something. And knowing this,
But when she goes to the administration, they're probably going to say, oh, Miss So-and-so from CPS. There you go.
Yep, that's it. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys both very much for having tonight. Herbert, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be catching up, same time, same place, same bat channel. All right, Herbert. All right, Josie. Thank you so much for sharing your story tonight. Do you have anything last that you want to say? Any kind of plugs you want to give for yourself, or anything that you can throw out?
Follow
You're going to
me
be around
on
more anyway.
TikTok.
So, right, you'll be around more anyway, so we'll be good there. I'll reach out to you after the show too, like I said, so we can chat. And thank you very much, and good luck for everything.
Thank you, and keep fighting.
Yeah, we will. That's for sure. We won't ever stop. We won't quit. All right, everybody. See, there's another episode in the books of someone that didn't do a damn thing to lose their child or their grandchild. The mom, the child, the granddaughter, all of them have lost. They've torn their family apart. There was no reason for it, none whatsoever. Not even an excuse as to why, or they do make up many excuses, and it's terrible. I can't believe that we live in a country that borders a country that is allowing this stuff. Wait a minute, our country's doing the same thing, right? So you can't even say that. That was just a joke, haha. But I'm just saying that we live in a society where today, and it's acceptable to go ahead and go into a hospital and just downright up and steal a child. It's just flabbergasting that this can happen, and people stand up to you while you're doing this. I mean, this woman Josie just had an administration of the hospital set her up so that she herself couldn't go pick up her daughter, her granddaughter that they were scheduled for, because they were making sure that they took that baby. Let that sit on you for a night. I'm CPS Punisher, guys. Until we meet tomorrow night, good luck, be safe, keep fighting.